She's a f***ing star. The whole world is gonna know her name. Wait, which movie am I talking about again? Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anthony Productions, and today I'm going to give you my review of the final entry in Ty West and Mia Goth's horror trilogy, MaXXXine. But before we get started, you know exactly what to do. At the end of the video, if you think I've earned it, please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. Now let's get into it. MaXXXine takes place right smack dab in the middle of the 80s, 6 years after the events of X, and follows Mia Goth's Maxine Minx, the sole survivor of the farm massacre that took place in 1979, perpetrated by the creepy old couple that kicked off all this shit in the first place, Pearl and Howard. In those 6 years, MaXXXine has become a very popular name in the home adult video business.
MaXXXine. Your agent tells us you're quite a popular name in adult film and entertainment. Is that correct?
But all of that is about to change when she gets a leading role in prestigious and hard-ass director Elizabeth Bender's, played funny enough by Elizabeth Debicki, upcoming horror movie, The Puritan 2. This excitement's not going to last long though, thanks to The Night Stalker, a mysterious serial killer stalking the streets of Hollywood, and John Labatt, played by Kevin Bacon, a private investigator threatening to reveal everything about Maxine's past. If you've been on my channel since I started doing reviews in 2022, you'll know that I absolutely loved X and Pearl, with both of them ending up on my horror top 10 list of the year, and Pearl even making it to number 4 on my top 10 list of movies for 2022.
That's pretty good.
So, knowing that MaXXXine was coming this year, I was really excited. And when I heard about the cast, even more so. And this is a stacked cast, too. Mia Goth, Elizabeth Debicki, Lily Collins, Giancarlo Esposito, Bobby Cannavale, Michelle Moynihan, Kevin Bacon. I mean, come on. And as it started, going right into MaXXXine's Puritan 2 audition with a fantastic, attention-grabbing monologue from Mia Goth, just like the end of Pearl, and then going to a very effective introduction to the Night Stalker, I was already hooked by this movie. The cast is all on point here, with Mia Goth obviously being the standout and giving a powerhouse performance, just like she's done in pretty much every movie I've seen her in.
I'm a star! The whole world is gonna know my name!
Here, she gets a chance to naturally progress from Maxine's go-getter attitude and mantra of, I will not accept a life I do not deserve.
I will not accept a life I do not deserve!
And really taking steps to make it happen here, portraying unwavering confidence nearly every time she's with another person. But when she's on her own or in a specific spot on the set and the trauma from X starts to rear its ugly head, we see so much of that vulnerability and raw emotion that was kind of there in X but really present in Mia Goth's performance in Pearl. She also has more than one badass moment that made me want to stand up and cheer, although one of them, as a guy, made me sick to my stomach. The other standout in this truly stacked cast is Kevin Bacon. He's just slimy and creepy here and plays it really well, yet somehow still injecting some of his Kevin Bacon charisma in there.
It's Kevin Bacon. He's not a loser. He's great. We don't hate him at all.
He's a great initial antagonist for MaXXXine, and I felt a mixture of anxiety and excitement every time that he came on screen because of the nature of how unpredictable those scenes can be. Especially one shot from the trailer involving MaXXXine putting her keys in between her fingers. I'm not going to spend too long talking about the other cast members. I mean, if you recognize their names, you already know they're great. As Maxine's agent, Giancarlo Esposito actually gets to be charming and funny and not just a villain for once.
What'd you do?
Elizabeth Debicki is stoic but with a heart of gold and a heap of passion for the film she's working on as the director. Lily Collins isn't really in it all that much. She's kind of got like the equivalent of Hunter Schafer's screen time in Kinds of Kindness. But for her small role, she delivers a lot of sweetness and a kind ear, offering some good advice to MaXXXine. And Bobby Cannavale and Michelle Moynihan, though they're basically just good cop, bad cop caricatures, really act their asses off and sell it.
Walk it off, Troy! Walk it off! Sorry, my friend, he's a bad cop.
Yeah.
I'm a good cop.
Okay.
You can trust me.
Oh, and there's also Moses Sumney as Leon, Maxine's best friend that owns a video store, though there's not really a whole much to that character. So now you know that I think the cast is great here, especially Mia Goth. And if you've seen the last 2 films in this trilogy and just how elevated they felt, you'll probably know that the cinematography, the editing, the use of color, everything here is so visually appealing. I also really dug the soundtrack that kind of dived deep into that 80s mode with a few pop songs and some synths. Now, as for the story, that's where things get a little complicated with my review. Don't get me wrong though, this is a striking tale of psychological torment, what it means to fight for what you want in life, religion versus Hollywood, and a surprisingly subtle allegory that was definitely referencing Weinstein and the documented history of the way that women have been treated in that industry.
It's icky.
Along with a very strong mystery that leaves you intrigued. for the first 2 acts. And I'm not joking, I spent like the first hour and 20 minutes of this film very tense and on the edge of my seat.
Theatrical dynamite.
But then we cross into Act 3, and we get the reveal of who the Night Stalker really is. And the film kind of just falls apart in my opinion. All of that great stuff that I talked about just kind of takes a back seat and gets replaced by a ham-fisted performance and a monologue.
He starts monologuing.
And though there is some fun action and gore to be found in those last 20 minutes, that part really just ripped me out of the movie. I understand the decision that was made with the villain and how it connects a lot of themes from these 3 films, but this trilogy, even though it's had its funny moments,
That's one ugly son bitch.
and its moments of dark comedy, took the villain of Pearl and handled her with grace and dignity. Well, for the most part. Here, though the evil plan does make sense and the villain's motivations are understandable, Ty West just dove so much into camp with the Night Stalker, especially after handling him kind of a Spielbergian way in the first 2 acts, hardly showing him and just focusing more on the kills. I thought Kevin Bacon was a much better antagonist, to leave it off on that. And if he would have been the main one of this movie, I really wouldn't have minded. Thankfully, I really only have issues with the climax, and like I said, I thought those first 2 acts were really great and I enjoyed the ending, so it didn't completely ruin the movie for me. So overall, though its 3rd act and villain reveal go pretty off the deep end in terms of campiness and cheesiness, without that self-aware 80s edge that would have helped me appreciate it more, MaXXXine is still a very strong horror film for the first 2 acts and the ending, with another fantastic leading turn from Mia Goth, and a great supporting cast to boot, along with some strong gore effects, great cinematography, a kick-ass soundtrack, a fun look into filmmaking in Hollywood of the 80s, and a strong mystery mixed with slasher elements and psychological horror. And that's my review of MaXXXine. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, you know what to do. I said it at the beginning. Please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. While you're at it, you can scroll down in the description below, find the links to my socials, leave a comment, let me know if you saw this movie and what you thought. And if you want more of my content, you can click or tap on these cards right here. They'll take you to my review of Kinds of Kindness, or just over to my channel where you can check out my reviews and my shorts. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time for my review of Longlegs.